The big question is, why should you trust Andrew Berry? Well, let's take a look at his first two drafts. And one of the ways to do this is look at the redrafts and how they have gone. 2021 redraft, remember, pick was Greg Newsome. So Greg Newsome goes 16 overall in this redraft. The Browns were drafted at 26. The Arizona Cardinals take him 16th overall, meaning Newsome the 16th best player on the board. You look at 19, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, taken by the Washington Commanders. Remember, Owusu-Koramoah was the Browns' second-round pick. So both of Andrew Berry's first two picks gone in this redraft before the Browns would have drafted at 26. The Browns get Oweh, who went to the Ravens at 26, edge rusher, had a real good rookie season as well. Let's go back to Andrew Berry's first draft in charge, the 2020 draft. First round pick that year was Jedrick Wills. Well, he got drafted earlier too. He gets taken 7th overall by the Carolina Panthers, which means the Browns would be stuck drafting CeeDee Lamb. That's a pretty good guy to get stuck with at 10 for the Browns. Let's welcome in Quincy Carrier. Quincy, the reason for looking at that redrafts is just to show how successful the early parts of the draft have been for the Browns under Andrew Berry. Some of the mid-round ones you can quibble with. He's had success late. All in all, he's done a really good job with his first two drafts.
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes we get caught up when we talk about the draft and everybody has this weird expectation that nobody has ever hit, that every draft pick got to hit in order for it to be a good draft, or even the majority. Fact is, if you get one or two good players, if you get one all-pro player in a draft, you probably did as good as you could do, right? It's hit or miss, swing or miss. The fact that they got JOK and Greg Newsome in the same draft class without really having to move that much to get both of those guys, one was in the second round, the other one was in the first round. That's a tremendous job by Andrew Berry. Now, I will say this. I could have told you, dude in the chair, JOK should have been in the top 20 of the draft last year. People just didn't take him for whatever reason, right? Yep. So how much credit he gets for being a guy that finally was smart enough to be hey, let's take this really good player here in the second round, I don't know. So we'll find out. This is going to be a good year to see where his true draft acumen is, because there's not an obvious answer right there in front of him at 44, like there has been with Jedrick Wills was the obvious answer. What Greg Newsome was an obvious answer for him, and then JOK was too. So he might not be gift wrapped that obvious of a win, but it's nice to know in a league that has a lot of GMs who won't just take the win when it's in front of them, that we have a GM who at the very least will understand, hey, I got to take this right here.
And the other thing about Jedrick Wills, remember, he was injured with an ankle injury. And if you want to know how an ankle injury affects a lineman, try picking up a 25-pound weight with both hands and then do it standing on one leg, because that's basically what he was doing. And then do it with 50 pounds. Now imagine 300 pounds trying to move around you. So give Jedrick Wills a little bit of a pass for last year, because he was injured early. He tried to play through it, and it just didn't work.
Yeah, he was injured, and he had to miss a few games. And I felt like when he came back that second time around, he really wasn't bad. I think a lot of people just kind of jumped on him about how bad he was. It really wasn't him that was bad. I mean, I think there was more to say about the right side of the offensive line at certain points of the year, especially before James got really comfortable on that right side there. But also I think there's a lot to say about, other factors. I'm not going to name anybody specifically, but other factors that could contribute to why the pocket collapsed or why there were so many sacks taken too. So I think Jedrick kind of gets a little bit of an unfair shake there. One, because his tape really wasn't as bad as people say it was. And he was also playing through injury. And again, if you go out there, same expectation for every player, right? If you go out there, I expect you to be able to play at a serviceable level. I felt like he did that at the end of the year once he came back. There were a couple games before he sat out for that injury where it was looking like he couldn't play football at all. He took those games off, and then he came back. He was pretty serviceable after that.